So, how I learn to understand GRE reading comprehension. Normally, anybody can understand anything that can be read with grammatical understanding or enough vocabulary, but GRE reading comprehension is not that same kind of thing. It has a certain structure and certain vocabulary, so you need to have some kind of previous knowledge to grab the sentence structure and certain vocabularies. That is why I am taking chatgpt's help. Chatgpt actually is the great teacher of us. We can take help from it. So here I am taking a help which is very precious, so that's why I am sharing with you. Here I have written that why I cannot fully understand the GRE reading comprehension by reading myself like this one. Here I cannot fully understand the last half of the passage. Please make me understand of this passage and provide me some tips so I can build a concept of understanding myself. Then I have copied the GRE passage from GRE big book and pasted here with the inverted commas. This is warm-blooded animals have elaborate physiological controls. This passage, and it has taught me that ChatGPT taught me that you are not alone. This is exactly the kind of GRE passage that feels understandable at first, but then becomes confusing halfway through. The issue isn't your intelligence, it's that the passage shifts from question, hypothesis, experiment, conclusion. So that's the structure. At first, this passes through a question, then it has a hypothesis, then somebody experimented it and draw conclusion. And if you lose track of that structure, the second half feels disconnected. Then what does it do? It has provided me all the structure of the passage. The structure is starting a question. What is the question? Why do warm-blooded animals get fever during sickness? So, warm-blooded animals normally keep a constant temperature, like human being has 37 degrees centigrade. Fever seems harmful, so why does the body do it? This is the central puzzle that cannot be clearly written in the sentence of the GRE passage, but ChatGPT helps you to make you understand this question. This is central puzzle. So where is the clue? Clue is iron levels drop during infection. Scientists observed who is Garibaldi during infection, serum iron decreases. Why does that matter? Because bacteria need iron to grow. Garibaldi's idea is fever has a relationship with iron. Bacteria produce iron grabbing substance. We do not need to focus on the terms like this. We can translate it as iron grabbing substance, but at higher temperature this production of iron declines and stops. So higher temperature, that is fever, means less iron available to bacteria. Less iron means bacteria cannot grow. So the key idea from here is fever might help fight infection by starving bacteria of iron. Now Kluger wants to experiment it. Here comes the tricky. Kluger tests this idea using cold-blooded animals because cold-blooded animal can be controlled in the laboratory because their body temperature is cold. And what he did, he raised body temperature of infected animals to 42 degrees centigrade, compared survival at 42 degrees centigrade, which is high temperature, and normal temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. So what is the result? More animals survived at 42 degrees centigrade, but when scientists injected extra iron, the animal died because iron made them their bacteria grow and they die. But what's the key evidence? This is the key evidence. So what this means, high temperature bacteria can't get enough iron, animals survive, and if iron is provided, then bacteria grow and animal die. This is the strongest. Fever helps by limiting iron availability to bacteria. This was shown in cold-blooded animals. Scientists still need to confirm if the same thing happens in warm-blooded animals. Why you got lost in the second half? The passage quietly switches from. The chatgpt told me that passage quietly switches from theory given by Garibaldi to experiment done by Kluger. And I have through a question here, which is how to understand the GRE passage structure. Please teach me. Then it has given me this core idea. GRE passages follow predictable structure. Like almost every GRE passage is built from a few repeating patterns. My job is to understand everything, is not to understand everything, it's to recognize what role each sentence plays. So my job is to recognize what role each sentence plays. What role each sentence plays. Like this. Why is the author telling me this? This is the key point. Why is the author telling me this? This is the key point. Every sentence I am reading in my mind, I need to ask myself that why is the author telling me this? Then the four most common GRE structure, which is problem, solution, and pattern is introduce a problem or question, offer one or more explanation or solution. Example, this passage, why does fever happen if it seems harmful? Solution, fever helps by limiting iron for bacteria. Signal word, why, however, does. These are the signaling word. Why, however, does, therefore. This is the problem solution pattern structure. They through a problem by asking a question with why, then however, does, therefore. Then theory evidence, very important for science passages. Someone propose an idea, then experiments or data support it. This is suggested, hypothesis, tested, found, that, suggested. This is the key words, which is a theory and evidence passage. theory and evidence basis. This is the second kind of structure. Then old idea, new idea, contrast. Like, however, but, recently, in contrast. These are the signal word. Then cause effect, one thing leads to another. Higher temperature, less iron, because thus leads to results in. These are the cause effect. How to read actively, step by step method. Read in chunks, not lines. So after 2-3 lines, pause and ask. Okay, how to read? Read in chunks, not lines. What just happened? Not details, just function. They introduced a question. They gave a hypothesis. They tested it. Okay, label each part mentally. You don't need to write it, just think. Q, hypothesis, is evidence, conclusion, question. Then observation, hypothesis, experiment, result, conclusion. Ignore what doesn't matter. Species, names, technical term, number. These are often distractions. Focus on relationship. Follow the author's goal. What's the author trying to prove? Fever helps fight infection. This is the point. I cannot even understand that fever helps fight infection. I thought that fever is bad here. Try feeling this. The author is talking about problem or question is, main idea or claim is, the evidence is. Reading every word equally. GRE doesn't reward this. Some sentences are central, others are supporting. Getting stuck on difficult terms. I need not do this. Not noticing shifts. Words like however, thus, but. These are the turning point. Then read normally, then write. The passage is mainly about. Break it into part 1, 2, 3. That's it. Final insight. Speed, vocabulary, memorization is not. Okay.